Right, so I think we'll get started. So hello guys, welcome once again. So actually today moving forward, I will be trying something new. So in most cases, I've been actually working on data science projects. In most cases, we have been building, let's say, the backend side of things. So what I've realized is that okay, I've been working mostly on the backend side of things, and my specialty is actually building AI applications. Okay, so one thing actually came into mind that why don't you actually try out also the front end side of things? Okay, so I've decided, okay, why not? Why don't I actually try also to be a front-end nowadays front-end engineer for that matter? So why don't I actually try to work with a web development? Because currently, whatever I'm working on currently, actually in most cases you will need a web application. Yeah. So why don't I just try and try to build these applications? And if you're going to build the front end side of things, mostly you'll be working, mostly it will be on the web side of things. And so I've decided that for me to actually grasp what is actually happening on the front end side of things, then I'll try out starting with the basics, the HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript. Then the best way to actually ensure that I keep track of my progress of what I'm doing will be to actually be trying all my best every day to actually build at least a project every day. The project will be one that includes HTML, CSS, as well as JavaScript. Okay, so I want to start with the basics first. So if I nail the basics, then I can now include React, which I think it's one of the best. I don't know if it's a framework or a library. I think it's a JavaScript library that we can now use to actually build these modern web applications. But before I jump into the React, Next.js, okay, Express, before I jump directly into that, then I think I should start with the basics, understand the basics, nail on the basics first. Then from there you can add these other frameworks or libraries. So I think my intention or my intent is to actually be good. Maybe I'll say React. I want to be good at React and also Next.js, because I see these nice web applications that currently we are interacting with. These nice web applications, I think, for example, let me use an example. Let's say an application like, let's say, Apple. Let me see, Apple Kenya, Store Online, Apple Center. Okay, so these are some of the. Let me see. There's a problem, but as this. So anyway, so back to what I was saying. Okay, so at the moment, I will let's say try, and I think Apple is not the best. Let's look for like a modern website. Okay. So let me dribble can. Let's try some of these websites so that I think you're able to understand essentially what I mean. Is that most of these websites, current websites, I think they're well designed, and you can actually let's use this one for example. Let's use this for example. Let's say you want a website like this. Let's say you want a website like this. Okay. Me to get inspired. Yes. So let's say you're working with let's say you are building a website like this one. Okay. You can see the sleek design and all that. So I think to actually build website like this, then you at least need to have how the web applications actually work, the frameworks that we use to actually build this, these web applications and so on. So I think that is I'll say that is my inspiration as to why I need to try to understand these web application, web frameworks, React, Next.js, so on. So for that reason, that's why we will be trying out a project a day. Let's see how we can build up web application using these web frameworks. So at the moment, I understand we can use AI to actually craft these websites at a go, but I don't think that is a long term. I don't think that is a long term way of doing things, because at least if I understand what is happening on the backend side of things. So if I'm able to understand that, then or how these components are actually rendering within the website. Okay, if there's a routing issue, if you're missing a page, routing issue, okay, things to do, errors or the debugging process that will certainly arise. Okay, so at least if you're in that position, if you're in that position to actually be able to work out the problem and solve those problems, I think that will be a tick or a plus for you. And you can only do that if you're able to understand how these frameworks work, how you can explain the syntax of how you can explain the flow. If you're given a code, you can actually debug and all that. Okay, so you can actually use AI to do that, which is good. But at least you have to understand the basics, understand what is happening, so that whenever I have an issue that maybe I need it explained, then it will be very easy for me to write a prompt that actually explains or narrows down whatever problem you're having. And then when you send that prompt to whatever large language model that you are using, then you're able to solve that problem instead of just beating around the bush. Okay, so that is my end result. So at the moment, I've been working on AI applications, and mostly I've been working on the backend side of things. Okay, but I also want to understand what happens on the front end side of things. Okay, so that at least I'm able to understand whatever happens in the backend, I'm able to debug, change, alter, modify the code, and also whatever happens on the front end side of things, and how these two objects are actually communicating within themselves. Okay, so I think building a project daily will be something that we can actually work with. or a component or a project daily, so that we're able to keep tabs, measure our growth when you are working on a web applications. Okay. And so so maybe you can try to join me on this journey, trying to add more experience on our belt. Okay. So today I think we will be today I think we'll start with weather application. So this is one of the, I'll say one of the, I'll call it a default project that most web dev start with. Okay, so we are going to start simple with a web application, weather application, and with this application, you are going to utilize HTML, CSS, so that's JavaScript. Also include an API requests, so that we're able to get weather information from a particular region. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover today. I will be writing the entire code because right now it will seem a little bit hard, but I just have to do it. So I will be writing each and every line of that code, trying to explain whatever is happening. And if maybe in the comment section, if you have questions, you can try to ask any questions, concern. Then we'll try our best to actually see how we can help one another. So let's try our first application. And that will be that will be, let me ensure, let me see if the sound is okay. So there's a problem with sound. So are you able to get what I'm saying? Maybe there's a problem. Is there a problem with sound? Okay, so let's get started. So also before we get started, if you want to learn HTML, maybe HTML and CSS, I think for the many tutorials, this is one of the best that I actually found, that really explains, I think, the theoretical part, how you're going to I think this is the for the many tutorials, this is one of the that really, yeah, I think HTML full course tutorial. So I think he has the HTML and the CSS one. So I think he tries to explain it well in terms of
Excited to welcome you to
in terms of how to actually HTML CSS. So I think it tries to explain it well. It tries to elaborate the concepts, the syntax, how to write the syntax. Okay, I think he tries to explain a little bit better amongst the many others that I actually found. So I went through the entire course learning the HTML and the CSS. Then I added more on JavaScript. So I added JavaScript, a little bit of JavaScript on that. Then from there, I think I was good. Maybe start building these projects one by one. Then from there, we can, yeah, I think from there, I think I had the muscle memory, the little bit muscle memory about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then from there, we can start now building projects so that we are able to nail in terms of how to actually build these applications, starting from using the most basics, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so I think if you're starting out, maybe this you can start from this the future full stack. So you can take the HTML course and also the CSS one. Then I think he also has one on JavaScript, but the one for JavaScript is more of understanding the concept side of things. Right? But I think for JavaScript there are ton of other courses on YouTube. I don't think you need to pay for this. So just take your time, try day by day. Just try as a concept day by day. Try to work on that. Then I think at the end of the day, I think you'll be one of the full stack, able to build the both side of things, the full stack, the backend side of things, and also the front end side of things. Okay, so enough of what we have said. Let's try to decide to now start building the applications. Let's start now on the application side of things. So today we're going to start with the weather application. As usual, we're going to start with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I'm going to use the knowledge that I've acquired on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I'm going to use that, the idea, whatever I've learned, and use that to actually build the applications. I won't be spending more time in trying to explain what is a div, what's a div class, what is, how do we, okay, I won't spend a lot of time when trying to explain whatever, why are we using a div, why are we using a class, why, okay, so I won't spend a lot of time on that. So if you want to get the conceptual idea about the HTML, CSS, then you can just take a course on that. But here we're just going to use whatever we have learned to build the applications that we want. Okay, so let's get started. So as usual, we are using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we first need to create those files. So I'll create for the HTML. So HTML, that's the index.html. So that will house our HTML code. Then I'm going to add another file for the CSS. That will be style.css. And then I'm going to add another one that is for the JavaScript. So that is the script.js. Okay, so let's start with the HTML. Okay, so this is the weather application. So this is I'll call it the default of our I call it the default when it comes to web applications, the bare bones structure of a web application. You have the title of the web application, then you have the head section. I think the head section just tries to explain what applications that you are using, plus other let's say we can call it metadata about the web application. Then we have, so that's the head section. Then we have the body section. Body section, this one will be, body section will be the, what can we call it? So the body section, this one will be the content, the entire content in a web application. And then HTML is just like the bare bones structure, HTML. So we are writing a HTML source code. Okay. So let's start. So this is the weather application. Then we can add, now we need to import CSS. CSS is all about the styling side of things. So we need to link the CSS. Okay, so link style sheet. Then this one is our CSS, where we're going to store our CSS styling side of things. Okay, then for the, when it comes to JavaScript, so we want our web app or a web to actually render before we can even load all other functionalities. Okay, so this is where I'll now include the JavaScript, the script, the script.js. Okay, so this one will be loading all the functionalities. Will be loading from JavaScript. We will be using this, and then from CSS, then this one will be rendered. So essentially what we are trying to do is that we want all our HTML and CSS code to render before we even think of the JavaScript side of things. Okay, that's why the JavaScript will come later. Let's start with the application itself. So this is the weather application. Now, whatever we will be building, we want to render that, see how it will be, how it appears on the, on your how it let me first open the site, open, yeah. So we want to render our website. So I will be using Chrome for that, so that we're able to see what happens with our application. Okay, so I'm using okay, I think that one's okay. Now let's start the process. Okay, right one. Let's start with the div class. So alright, maybe we can start, we can do this. The easiest way to actually see whatever we are doing, let me first show you what we will be building. Then from there, we're able to follow. Let's see, yeah, so this is what we will be building. So this is the end result of what we will be building. So you can see, you can enter a city name, Manchester. Then you can see the weather changes. The weather information about this city actually changes. You can say London, and you can see the information. Actually, we have the city, then we have temperature, wind. We have the wind and also the humidity, weather information about the city that we are building. So I want to first, before we actually dive deeper and start building this, then let me first explain to you what we are building. So this is the application that we are building. So let me use some drawing tools so that, okay, so So this is the application, the final side of things, the final application that we're going to build. So you can see in our application, we have use red so that it's visible. Okay. So in our application, you can see this dark background. Oof, so what's not happening? Let me see. Let me try to use a marker so that I'm able to follow through. So use red. I just close this one. Let's see if this one. Let me try this. Then I change the color to red. It's not bold enough. Try to increase the size. Try to change the color. You can use. So from what I have, just do away with this. So at the end, this is what we are going to be building. So I will start with this is the background. So this is the background from where all this is the background. That's the background. So okay, so that's the background. Then we have this card. We have this card. Okay. Then from inside the card, we have the search bar. Maybe this one I can use a different color. Use red. Okay. So inside the card, we have the search bar. Then we have the color can be conspicuous. Green. Then we have the search button. Then we have this image about then we have temperature but in degrees Celsius. Then you have the name of the city. Then you have this image again. Then you have information about humidity. Then you have an image. Then you have another information about the wind speed. Then at the end, this one is a card that has background color. So you can see this is the final application that you're going to be building. Okay. So I've just tried to break it into small parts. Okay, so I've tried to break it down component by component so that whenever we are building this, we are able to actually, or whenever we are building, and especially during the styling side of things, we're able to build component by component. And by doing that, you'll find it amazing, okay? Because you're able to follow through step by step, component by component, until we build the entire card, background card, and everything on this card, okay? So again, so having this in mind, then let's now jump right in and start working on the code itself, okay? So I'll just do away with the, let me erase all, okay? And then I'll be making references so that I will be making references to this so that whenever we are building this application, you're also able to follow through step by step. Okay, so let me do this. You can use this. So this is the where we are going to be rendering at the moment while we are building. Then this is the final output that we are looking at. Okay, so let's start with the first. So the card, so the entire card, let me just unpin this. So we are going to start with the card itself. Okay, let's try to change the color. Let's use green, and then I can just erase. And just erase this. Let me use, I think green is the better color. Then try to reduce on the size. And I'll use that one is not use this. So we are going to start with the object itself. So that is the container. So we're going to start with the container, and that will be the card itself. Okay. So div, so class, the class for this, we'll call this the card. Then inside the card we have the search, we have the so inside the card we have all this. So that's the card. So inside we have the search input and the image itself. So inside that we have this. So let's actually build it. So it's supposed to be card, then just div, just class, can name the class search input. Then this one will be an input. So input type, just put input is a self-closing tag. So I'll first use a class. So the class will be search input. Then type will use a text, and we'll have a placeholder, enter the city name. Then we'll add another one, spell check. The spell check use false. Let's close this one for the moment. Then I'm going to add a button. So for the button, I'm going to use an image. So what we are going to do, I'm going to create a new folder here where we are going to store all our images. So I'm going to create an image, say images. So images, this will house all our images. And then this is our images. So in the folder images, I'm going to drop all my images. So let me just drop those images. I'll just drop all images here. Images. All these are my images. Okay. Okay. So image, then we specify G. Then we specify the source. What's the source of the image? So images slash icon. This will be search icon dot png. Then I can just use an alt text for the same. My the correct button, then images. So you can see search icon is an SVG. Okay, so what is it? Then yes, there's an error in terms of valid city name. should be a way that you're going to sort this. Okay, so just create another div, create another class. Let's call it error. Then use a paragraph. Then we can call it invalid city name. Okay. Then you can create another class, weather. So inside this again, image plus img. Okay. So first class, so this is the weather icon. Then src we need to specify. So we have the images slash. You can use, we're going to use the rain. Okay, then this call it rainy weather. Icon. Okay. Then this one I'll use a h1. So for the h1, then I'll specify the class this. This is the weather city for the given city. The city, then I'll use a placeholder. I'm in Nairobi, so I'll use Nairobi. Okay. Then so we have whatever we have this icon, then we have the temperature, and then we have the name of the city. Okay, so we need to first follow that order. So I'll first again h1, so h1, then so give it a class name temp. Then I'll just use a placeholder, let's say 21 degrees Celsius. 1 degree Celsius. Just search degrees Celsius symbol. This one. Just copy this. Make sure I paste it here. So 21 degrees Celsius. 21 degrees Celsius. Okay. H1. Then the weather city. That's my. Okay. I think weather city. Then weather information. So the weather details of the other. I'll do another class. Then this class details. Details. I'll create another div. This one. Div. Class details. So what we need to add here is we have this, the humidity, and we have the wind icon. Okay, so essentially you can see that you can create one container that houses this information. Then you can just paste that container, copy and paste that container, and then create this one. So the first one that I'm going to do, the weather, so for the details, so I'll create another div, then give it a class column. Then inside this, I can create an image. Then this one, I can call it images, call it humidity. It's just humidity.png. Humidity icon. Then we can specify, we'll create another div container. Then I'll say, then I'll first call it a class. Give this class a name. Humidity class 80%. Then I can give it a paragraph. Humidity. Okay. So you have images. There's something. Oops. Okay. Now is the reason as to why the images are not rendering. So this one should be in the image folder. Yeah, this is the reason as to why they were not rendering well. So the rainy weather icon is supposed to be rain.png. So rain.png. Now see, it's now rendering. We have if this is the error. Now it's now okay. So there's something we are missing. First, let me use a class name here. You can say humidity icon. Then we have the source image. The class weather. Then we have details and the column that we have. Then image class humidity. So we're not rendering the image. Get another container. This container will be for the wind. Think so. This is the wind icon. Then we change this to wind. That's the wind.png. Then we'll change this one to wind icon. Okay. Then we have the div. Instead of humidity, you can use wind. Then wind is in kilometers per hour. So I'll be using kilometers per hour. 10 kilometers per hour, that's okay. Then instead of humidity, we are going to use wind. Okay. Seems there's something I'm missing. Let me. So we have this container card, the entire container. Then you have the class search, supposed to be the search input. Search input. So search input. Search. This one is it. Okay. Then we have the input class. So we have the search input. Type is text. Place order. Enter city name. Can add. Then the spell check. I made that to be false. I think you're missing. Don't worry, this is the. I told you I'm just getting started. We're going to have a lot of problems. I'm going to get what I want. Don't know why. Am I missing anything? Nope. So I think this one is okay. So we have the card. Then it has its closing tag. Then we have this opening and closing tag. Then the input function. Okay. Then we have this error class, so that whenever there's an invalid city name, we won't be getting the results. So div class error. I think this one is okay. Now from here we have the weather section. So we have the div class weather. Then the image weather icon. Source images slash rain png. One Nairobi, 80 humidity. I think it's do I need this? This is the weather, then all these should be inside this. All these, or I can just do away with this at the moment because I can just do this. So we have the weather, temperature 21 degrees Celsius, weather city, Nairobi. Then I don't need, so yeah, I think this is where I was having problems with it. So from here we can do the I can create a new class. So weather. Okay, Then inside this, then I have the image. For the image, call it images slash, so that's the rain dot png. Then so you can call it the rain weather icon. Then I'll just include a class for this that will be used for styling. So we can call this the weather icon. Okay. Then below this we have the h1. No, there's something I'm repeating this. No, I'm repeating whatever I did earlier. So this, I don't need that one. So this is the weather. You can create a new container here. Dot weather dot details. So this is a container. Then inside here we create a new one. So okay, details. Then here is where we now insert the image. So for the image, you can call it supposed to be images slash humidity png. Then we can call it humidity weather icon. Okay. Then I'll introduce a class humidity icon. What am I missing now? Then we have the humidity who's in the yeah, I think this one is now okay. Then I'll just copy this, then create a new div. Then again I'll call this details column. Then instead of humidity icon, you can call this wind. And instead of humidity png, you can call it wind.png. Then call this wind weather icon. Oops. Supposed to be wind, and the wind is in kilometers, distance is in kilometers per hour. Yeah, I think we are now okay. So we have Nairobi, humidity, and so that's the wind. So we have let's say Nairobi as we have if I can redo this again. So what we have the search bar and also the search image. I'll call it a button. Okay, so going back, so we have the search bar and the icon itself. Okay, so that is done. Then we have this image, let's say a weather image. So this is what we have at the moment here. Then we have temperature. I think this is, yeah, I have the temperature. So we have the temperature. Then we have Nairobi as the city. So here we have the same, Nairobi as the city. Then below Nairobi as the city, we have an image. So we have this so here we have this, then we have this, then here we have our image, and then we have this speed. So going back, you can see we have the only thing that is not rendering is the, if I'm not wrong, is the image. The images are the ones that are not rendering, but I do believe we have the images. So you can see this so we have, let me try to use let me call it wind.png. Okay, I think that's the reason why it's not rendering. PNG. Yeah, we are supposed to have something like this. Images.trend PNG, images. Oh, this is this one is within a button. That's why we're having now I get it. So if it was yeah, I think that's why the images are not clearly visible because this one is within a button. But if it was let's say if it was, let me use this one, if it was like this, it's still rendering. I don't know why I'm having problem with this. Supposed to be okay, now I see. It's the image is of the same color as the background, so that's why we are not able to see, the image itself. Okay, but I think that's why you're not able to see the image itself because even if I use this one, let me use this as a test example. So if I use this and paste it here, you can see the image is showing up. Okay, but just because the image is I think it's white in color if I'm not wrong. So white color on yeah, that's why it's not able, you're not able to see, but the image is there. So we have just built the bare bones structure. So I think that one is, we are now on the HTML side of things. I think we have built I'll call it the bare bones structure of our web application. So as you can see, this is what we have actually built. Now, whatever we have this card. We have built this card, okay, and this component. So we have the, what can I say? So we have the search button, search bar. Sorry, then the search button. Then we have the weather icon. This is the temperature, city, humidity information, and wind information. Okay, now I think let's work on the styling side of things. Then I think tomorrow we'll work on the JavaScript so that we make our application responsive and all that. Okay, so let's start with the styling. So for the styling, I'm going to start from the start. We're going to use one is the universal selector. So I'm going to let's start with the universal selector. So universal selector, I'll start with the margin 0, padding, and I'll use 0. Then the font family, so we're just going to use a constant one. So I'll use Poppins. Then the backup will be sans serif. Then box sizing. This one I'm going to use the border box. Okay. Then from here we can go to the body, section. Then I just use the background color. The background color and hash 222. I think this one is. If you're not going to see changes, that means we are not linking our CSS. It's supposed to be style.css. So what other error are we missing? Supposed to be style.css, not styles. Try to reopen this. yeah, I think now everything is okay. So if I use the styles.css and we render this page again, you can see it's the white default background is now showing. But if I use the correct style.css, so I can just remove this style.css, and then you can see we are now using our dark background. So what you can change this. Maybe if you want a red background, so you can see we are now able to change that depending on what color you would prefer. So let me try a green one. So you can see we're able to change the background depending on what color you're using. Okay, so that is so we're now styling. So background. So that's the body. So we go to the now styling the card. So we can now move to styling this container. So this container is the entire card. The entire card is the one that you're actually styling at the moment. So let's see how we can make these items actually now appear to be on a card. Okay, so let's CSS background color. Then you can now use the class selector. So for the class selector, we are using that's the card. So that's our class selector. So for the card, the width, let's say 90%, 90%. Then max width. Then you're going to use 500 pixels. Then we have the background. We are going to use a linear gradient. Then you're going to specify 135 degrees. Then we are going to use a little bit red. So we are going to let's use color FE5D. Then we're going to use another one 5B. Yeah, you can now see we are trying to get that color. Then but for the background, you can try and a little bit dark in terms of the background itself. Previously I was using 222. Okay, now that's the background. Then the margin, I'll use 100 pixels. Auto, then border radius, so that we have rounded corners. So I'll use 20 pixels is okay. Then the padding I'll use 40 pixels top and 35 pixels bottom. Then the text align center, so that all the texts are aligned at the center. Okay, you now see we're now making progress. Okay, so that's the card. Then the next thing is the search. So dot search. So for the search again, we'll do the width. That is 100%. Then display, I will do flex. Then align align items. Again, we align our items towards the center. Then justify content. Again, space between. Let's use the space between. That's the search. When you go to the search input, so that's a class selector. So search input, let's see, this is our search input. So the input box, this one, let's style it. So border, I'm going to use 0. Outline of that box, should I'll use none. I'll use Z. I'll use, okay. Then the background, just use the background, put it white. Use white. Then the color, I think search box color. Then of course we'll have some little bit padding. Then 25 pixels at the top, then 10 at the top, then 25 pixels on the right. Then border radius, I want this to be rounded, so I'll use 50. Then do I need width? Don't need the width. Padding, you can set the height. So height, I'll use 60 pixels. Height 60 pixels. Flex, the flex, I think that one's okay. Then the margin, the right margin, I'll use 15 pixels. Then the font size, I'll use 16 pixels. Okay, we have the border, we have the outline. Outline, let's say if I was using 100, no, use this one is okay. Then the background, I just use white. Then the color of the border, a little bit grayish. Then we have the padding, the border radius, so that we have these circular edges. Then flex, margin right, between our search bar and the button itself, as well as the font size. That's the search input. Let's go to the search button. So we are styling this search button. So again, search button, border. This one border, for the border I'll use none. For the, don't need an outline. Then for the background, FF, I think that one is, yeah, white. Border is white. Now padding, I don't need this. Let's say 28 pixels. And the border radius, again 50%. So you can see we are now able to fit the image within the search button. So now cursor pointer. We need to style the background of this, the background, so that this image fits perfectly. So cursor pointer, then we'll have the width, width 50 pixels. Then the height. For the height, we'll use the 60 pixels. Then the display, we'll use a display flex, align item center, and the justify content center. Okay, so then we need to style the search button image. Dot search button image. So width I'll use, let me increase this one a little bit, say 28 pixels. You can see it now fits perfectly. Then height, for the height I'll use 10 pixels. Then margin top, yeah, that one is okay. Search button image. Then you have the weather icon. So width and width, use 100 pixels. Then the margin top, I'll use 20 pixels. That's the weather icon. Then the weather h1, weather h1. So font size 35 pixels. And the font weight, 600. Want it to be bold. Then margin top and margin bottom. So margin top, that's the 10 pixels. Margin bottom 15 pixels. Bottom, this will be 15 pixels. Okay, so that's the weather h1. Then the weather h2 supposed to be dot weather h1. Then weather h2. Then the font size, use 60 pixels. Font weight, then margin, I prefer to use the margin top. In 10 pixels. I want this to be a little bit bold. That's the weather h2. Now the details. So display flex. Okay. Then align items. Justify content center. So justify content center. Margin top. Can just double this to 40 pixels. Then I can add a gap between these. Use 100 pixels. Then I will say padding to be, that one is okay. That's the detail section. and we are able to split those into like a column. Okay, so let's column justify flex, display flex, align items center, then justify. Okay, text. Then for the text align, text align, I will use left alignment. Okay, that's the column. So that's the column column image. Column image. So that's the width. So for the width, I just use 50 pixels. Then margin right. I'll use 10 pixels so that we have that nice space, nice space between your image, so some gap with your text. Okay. Yeah, I think we have now styled our. Have we achieved? No, there's something the color to be white. So for the card, we can add color. Let's call it white. Yeah, so the color to be white. Okay. Now, I think we have been able to style this. So we are able to, if you can do a recap. And do a recap. So we have the background, then we have the card itself. Let me try to. So we have the card. This screen is. We have the card. Then we have this bar. You can call it a search bar. Then we have the button. Then we have weather icon. Then you have the degrees. Then the city, humidity, as well as the wind. So I think Nairobi, I think the font, we have the font family that we're going to use. The font family, I'm using Poppins and sans serif. Poppins, sans serif. I think, yeah. Okay. So I think today we have been able to actually build the HTML side of things, so the bare bones structure of our weather application. Then now we have added a little bit styling, and this is the result of that styling. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to work on now is the adding of the JavaScript. This one I'll do it a little bit. I think we'll work on this tomorrow. So this one we'll work on this tomorrow. So the JavaScript side of things, so that we are able to add the name. We're able to add the name. Then be able to add the name. Let the model use the API settings that we have used to fetch for weather information in whatever city that we have requested, then that information will actually display here. Okay. So today was a little bit hectic for me because this is my first time actually working on HTML and CSS. So it's quite strenuous, but with more practice, I hope that it will change for the better. So I think today, I think it was nice start for this challenge. So we have done the HTML side of things. We have done the styling using CSS. So tomorrow it will be on the JavaScript side of things to make our application function. Okay. So that's it. That's it from me today. It was a nice interaction to have with you. Let's meet tomorrow and start on the JavaScript. Start on the making our application function. So if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. Welcoming you to this wonderful community. Hit that notification bell so that whenever we're discussing something, you're able to get updated on that. So it has been a wonderful interaction. See you in the next one.